Star Atlas is the most ambitious video game that I've ever seen. They're building a AAA space-themed video game metaverse on the Solana blockchain. There's deep space exploration, competing factions, political domination, decentralized autonomous corporations, territorial conquest, DeFi, NFTs, and a lot more, all bundled with some of the best looking sci-fi art I've ever seen. In this video, I'll give a brief overview of Star Atlas, then we'll cover their dual tokenomics and the details of their upcoming launch. Then in a week, I'm going to interview their CEO, Michael Wagner, so if you have any questions you'd like me to ask, drop them down in the comments below. Welcome to DeFi Now, I'm Josh Cross, and if you like ad-free crypto content, make sure to subscribe down there with the bell notification, and as always, jump into the DeFi Now Discord for more conversations and giveaways. We do have a giveaway going on right now with Nodal that will end right before my AMA with Nodal's co-founder and CEO next week, so you can check that out in my last video. 1,000 USDT and 500 Nodal Cash just for people submitting AMA questions, so be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. Now for transparency, this is not a sponsored video, but I did invest in the Star Atlas private sale, so I'm not really being objective here. I mean, of course I got a bag. It looks so f***ing awesome. As I said in the intro, Star Atlas is a massively multiplayer, space-themed metaverse. The game takes place in the year 2620 when there are three main factions competing for resources, territories, and political control. There's the Mud territory ran by humans, the Oni region, which is run by a consortium of alien races, and the Urster sector, which is controlled by sentient robots. As a player, you choose one of these three factions to join and influence how things develop. All in-game assets are NFTs, so players have complete ownership of them, which is totally different from MMOs like World of Warcraft that exist right now, where players don't own any of their assets and they can't even trade their gold for dollars without, the risk of getting banned. So in Star Atlas, new players start in a safe zone, and as you gain experience and confidence, you can venture out to the medium tier safety zone where combat is allowed, but if your assets are destroyed, they will at least be reset. But for the truly bold, there's the final zone in deep space where destruction of assets are permanent. The further out you go, the better rewards, but also the greater the risks. So if you decide to fly out there and engage in a deep space battle and your ship is destroyed, remember your ship is an NFT, that ship is gone and it will break into individual scrap components, also NFTs, for the victor or scavengers to collect. And no matter what your skills and interests are, there's a role perfectly suited to your liking. You can be a miner harvesting raw materials on a distant planet, or a pirate pillaging for booty, or a scientist getting new technologies, or a bounty hunter hunting pirates, or a CEO dominating politically. Even crew members on a ship range from pilots to engineers to cargo foremen to janitors and more. All visible stars are real places that can be visited, but you're going to need a big ship with a full crew and lots of fuel to be able to reach them. So whether you just want to play it as an RPG, or go exploring deep space, or focus on the game economics and making money, you'll have the freedom to do it. It's being built in Unreal Engine 5, which is a next-gen game engine that's poorly named because it looks pretty damn real. UE5 enables cinematic quality textures, lighting, and interactions that can even run on current-gen consoles. This footage is being rendered in real time on a PS5, so I cannot wait to see what Star Atlas looks like running on this. Now I want to keep this video relatively short, so let's quickly cover their tokens. There are two tokens in Star Atlas. The Star Atlas token, that I'll just call by its ticker symbol, Atlas, is used as the in-game currency. It's inflationary and it has burn mechanisms with the goal to match the inflation with the growth of the in-game economy. That way when new players join, assets are priced reasonably and also allowing the Atlas price to appreciate outside the metaverse. The total supply of Atlas will be 36 billion, and here's the token distribution. You can pause the video to look closer if you'd like, but as you can see, it will take 8 years for the supply to be fully diluted, and I want to point out that the team allocation is only 5% here, and you'll see why in a little bit. Now the Star Atlas DAO token, which I'll refer to using its ticker POLIS, is the much more interesting one to me. It's designed to be a long-term store of value and serves as the governance token throughout the entire metaverse, which in the long term will have power over everything, including over the founding team. POLIS will have a total fixed supply of 360 million, so 1% of the supply of Atlas. And here's that token distribution. It's identical to the distribution of ATLAS with one major change, and that's the team's allocation. With ATLAS, the team allocation is 5%, and with POLIS, it's 30%. And this makes sense. It's important to remember that although there's the mini game that's going to come out this year, it will be several years before the completed game goes live, and even then it will be dynamically changing. Decentralized governance is extremely hard to do, and there's just no way for the DAO to take over until the game really matures, which realistically is probably at least 8 to 10 years away. During that time, it's important that the team maintains control to keep development going smoothly. I know I barely touched on the economics here, and I haven't even mentioned how land ownership, building, or other NFTs fit into this, so if you've got some other questions, remember to drop them in the comments and I'll choose some for the interview next week. Now let's talk about their upcoming launch. Both ATLAS and POLIS will launch in 3 places: on the FTX exchange, on Paid Network's Apollo X launchpad, and on Radium's Accelerator launchpad. Since there are 100 times more ATLAS tokens than POLIS, POLIS is 100 times more expensive. So POLIS will launch at 13.8 cents and ATLAS will launch at 0.138 cents. Each of the places that's launching have different requirements for access, so rather than listing all the details here, I'll post a link to the Star Atlas Medium post, and it has all the info and links there. On August 26th, leading up to the launch, I'll interview Star Atlas' CEO, Michael Wagner. The interview will be pre-recorded, but I'll make sure to release it the day after. Now, in the real world, we're quickly going in a direction where there won't be any jobs for low or unskilled workers because automation, robots, and AI will do almost everything better than humans. Regardless of what we think about this future, it's happening. Now, we already spend much of our lives in a digital world, and I expect that as these metaverses go live, hundreds of millions of people or more will spend much of their time in a metaverse. You can't get a job in the real world, but you can get one in a virtual world that you can actually live off of. There are already people living off of games like Axie Infinity, and play-to-earn game mechanics are still in their infancy, but I suspect this will grow to a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and Star Atlas is among the most promising and definitely the most ambitious and best looking. If you're interested, I highly recommend joining their Discord for the next town hall call with their founders tomorrow, August 20th at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and be sure to dig into their white paper and economics paper to get a deep understanding of this metaverse. Both are linked in the description. Now sound off in the comments below what you think of Star Atlas, and if you'll be joining me in the metaverse and how you'd like to play it, and be sure to like and subscribe while you're down there. Thanks so much for watching, and keep exploring.